Welcome to The Day I Found Myself with host Cynthia Newell. Life is a series of events designed to help us grow and evolve. This inspirational show is about self-discovery, inner healing, and triumph. Let's dive in. Welcome to a new episode of The Day I Found Myself with your host, Cynthia Newell. I'm grateful to be here. It has been, I would say, an interesting journey. I'll tell you that I decided to go back to school and pursue getting a graduate degree in addition to being a single mother and working a full-time job and running a business. And I tell you, there were some ugly nights. And so I'm excited about what we're going to talk about today with my guest, Katrina Henderson. We're talking about the day I found myself looking for beautiful. And I'm honored to have Katrina here. She is the leader of the Beautiful Society. She also is a life coach. She's a speaker. She's an artist, and she's an amazing mom and wife. So I want to welcome you, Katrina, to the show, The Day I Found Myself. How is your day going so far?
It's going well. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, I'm really grateful that Friday was the last time I had to hit submit for an assignment, because when I tell you that work is demanding, although I enjoy learning, like I'm a super nerd, I love to learn, I love to read, but being able to digest all of it, remember it, and prepare papers, and then also try to be an effective mother and a sane person. Oh my God, it was very challenging. And so I decided to gift myself a little break because the new class was supposed to start Monday. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not ready. My brain is not ready. So I'm good. I'm happy about that. I need to get caught up on rest, but I'm happy that that was the last day of class. But today we're going to dive into a powerful conversation that I think that it will be beneficial for not just women, but young girls and even men, you know, that are loving women and learning, you know, wanting to learn their woman. So the day I found myself looking for beautiful. So I decided to choose this topic because the last 9 years, each show has been dedicated to something that occurred within the last 9 years of my life. And this show is about the ugliness that I faced in these last 9 years of having to uproot my life and pivot and change, and not feeling good about it and not feeling good about myself, you know, about having to make that decision. And so there was a point where everything was ugly. Like, I'm a nature person, going outside and being in nature, walking. I didn't enjoy that. I couldn't dream anymore. Like, my dreams had kind of slowed up because my mind was just so consumed with the ugliness. In addition to that, like the nothing was soothing, nothing was appealing, nothing was beautiful, nothing was good, you know. And I found myself just asking God, how do I get back to beautiful? And so first, I want to we're going to talk about a lot today, but first I want to talk about your definition of beautiful as it relates to just life, you know, as it relates to your desired life. How do you define beautiful for your life?
So it's going to be different for everyone, right?
Absolutely.
So what I'm going to share is mine, but you're going to have your own definition, and other women watching, other families watching, they'll have their own. And I think that's the first thing we have to realize. There is no cookie cutter definition, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, I'm thinking beautiful was the outside appearance, right? How the long hair, what size I was, that type of thing. But God had to sit me down, right, and help me redefine beautiful in that it was who He created me to be. It was still being able to smile even if I was going through something. It was still being able to have the confidence in who I am when I use my voice, right? It is understanding that everything may not necessarily be perfect,
Right.
but it's beautiful in its own sense, and
Mhm.
acknowledging and understanding and receiving that. For
Yeah.
me, the biggest thing was understanding was my beautiful was that I was worthy and enough. Like I
Mhm.
didn't have to look at the titles. I didn't have, didn't have to have the CPA certification. I didn't have to have the car, the house, and all the other stuff. Who are we when we strip all of those things away? And that was the definition that I had to hold on to. It had to
Yeah.
become my foundation.
Yeah, and that I think that that's what I was presented with, in going through the ugly things. Who are you without the marriage that you wanted or the definition of success to you? Who are you
Mhm.
without the house? Now you're here with you. And even though it was an ugly time and an ugly experience, it was eye opening at the same time because I was presented an opportunity to redefine or to get back to, who I am or what it was that I wanted or the broader vision for my life. And so those ugly places add so much value to our life. They hurt,
Absolutely. They
but they
do.
really help us to rediscover, redefine, renew, ourselves so that we can reposition ourselves and move forward and create more of beauty. I had attached so much like beauty on having the two parent home. That was ideal, the two parent home. And it's nothing wrong with that, but well, I won't say but. However, thinking that that's the way that you can be successful, only way you can be successful. If that falls apart, then something's going to be wrong with my daughter because her father's not there. And God is an unlimited God. He can create scenarios and situations that will blow your mind, and provide her with what she needed. I was concerned that the ugliness from that experience would cascade down to her and then make her question her value, her beauty, her worth. And at one point it did. And so you have daughters, right?
I do. And
So
son. Yep.
how do you deal with, or how do you speak to your daughters or encourage them when about their beauty when there's so much ugliness and groupthink and conversation about that outer beauty piece? How do you guide them in seeing their inner beauty and anybody that you work with, but more specifically your daughters?
So for me and for them, it was trying to get them to define what beautiful meant to them, right? My oldest, she's 21. When I was going through, it was the same thing. Husband and I, her dad and I divorced. And so it was kind of that thing with you of,
Mm-hmm.
well, she's going to go through so much because her dad is not physically in the home. And I had to let that go,
Yeah.
right? Society will get you to claim that you have to have a two-parent household when how if your household is dysfunctional with the two
Exactly.
people,
Yeah. Yeah.
then none of that matters. But it was redefining and saying, even though your dad and I aren't together, right, you're going to still have a relationship with him, you're still going to see him, and try and allow her to not feel as if she's missed out on something because we're no longer together.
Yeah.
And so, as a mom, things wasn't good always, the best when it
Right.
came to getting them to nurture that relationship. So there were some hard conversations that I had to have with him. I had to have a conversation with her and say, hey, this is right now, this is the reality of where
Mhm.
we are. I can't change,
Right.
our new normal of what it looks like. All I can do is help you maneuver through it. So she's now creating her own. And then with my youngest daughter,
Hmm.
she's quiet, right? So it's hard to sometimes understand what she feels or what she thinks. So it's a little more challenging for me to get her to be vocal about, well, what do you like? What do you don't like? And then, because I know peer pressure is coming, right? She's getting right. She's in the fifth grade now. So next year she's going into middle school. So
Yeah.
I know there's going to be a new set of things that we're going against, and just trying to reinforce in her, like, even though you're quiet, you still have a mighty voice.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to hold on to.
Yeah.
But what's funny, there's nothing funny about God. He's very intentional. The the thing of, me using my voice, that was a big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's her. So seeing that, as I learn to speak my voice, be vocal with my voice, I'll be able to learn ways to help her figure that out for herself, so that when she does get in those situations where she's questioning who she is, then she can
Mm-hmm.
come back like, no, 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 that's not the truth, and here's what the truth is.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's very, very important. I was sitting with Samantha the other day, and she was looking through. She was watching some, I forget what are those things called, shorts or TikToks, and people were dancing, and I just watched her watch the videos, and I noticed that she just kind of started comparing herself.
Mhm.
Um, and she just started public school this year, and so we haven't had the conversation about anyone saying anything about her, but I noticed that she wants her hair straightened and she wants certain things, and so we're at a good place. I'm at a good place to teach her about inner beauty. But sometimes the world is so much louder than that small, still voice. When I
Yeah.
look at just coming up, I needed a lot of I wouldn't say that affirmation. I needed to be affirmed. I needed those vocal words. That is my love language,
Mhm.
speaking to me. And so when you don't have that and you don't have anything but the world to help you or give you the definition of what beautiful is, you grow up very confused. And so, what I tried to do in my life was create beautiful. So, when I was younger, I'm like, I got it all mapped out. I'm going to get married. We're going to have the children. We're going to both be successful. We're going to get the dog. I'm going to be saved, and we're going to be in church, and we're going to look like this and look like that. And so, the first time I did it, it was a good run. We lasted for about 13 years in total. But then the second time I did it, it was like to make up for the first one ending, and I don't feel like I was really in touch with my beautiful, really understanding what I needed. For me, beauty is, or being beautiful, that means being secure within who you are, being grateful for your gifts and your talents, and walking confidently in those things, and just feeling safe. One of the things, and you tell me your thought about this. So when we were younger, my mother used to say to me and my sister, I have a sister that's like right up under me. She's a year below me. She would say, my sister was pretty, but I was beautiful. What do you think that means? Like, in your opinion?
So I have to go from the perspective, if I'm hearing that as a child, one, I can hear the comparison. And it almost as if, okay, one isn't as pretty enough. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I hear when someone says, well, she's beautiful, she's pretty. Well, why are they not equally beautiful?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're equally beautiful in their own different way. And I think that's where we have to change the narrative of what beautiful is, in that you're beautiful, I'm beautiful, but we're unique and different, right? And that uniqueness and difference makes us stand out regardless of what we look like.
Yeah.
Because how many times have you seen a woman and she could have on the stilettos, the baddest suit, all, the makeup, all the other stuff. But when she starts talking and really starts revealing who she is, you can tell that the inside doesn't match on the outside.
Yeah.
But yet
Yeah.
you could have someone in some sweatpants or some holy jeans, and she could be the most confident person, because she understands who she is, and doesn't, and
Yeah.
she's not allowing the outside society, definition or standard of thinking of it as a standard, because it's not,
Mm-hmm.
steer them wrong.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the whole purpose from what I do, is we got to change the narrative. Like,
Yeah.
beauty is one piece of it. It's everything that
Absolutely.
makes you up.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into what you do and how you support women and families and people, to be more beautiful, to show up more beautiful. So make sure you all come back after the break.
Let us help you spread the word about your business, your book, or upcoming event. Expand your reach and market your business with us. We would love to share your message with our viewers. Serious inquiries only. Email me at the email address below, and we will connect with you and discuss the various options we have to promote your business on the show and via social media.
All right. Welcome back, everyone, to The Day I Found Myself. We are here with Miss Katrina Henderson of Unbreakable Memories. I was getting ready to say, hello, my name is beautiful. And you
That
know what?
too.
As I'm sitting here and I tell you, I'm tired. But as I'm sitting here, I'm like, when I was thinking about what should I put on? My doggone hoodie that says, hello, my name is beautiful. I just thought about it like, oh my God, duh. But I'm going to snap some pictures and definitely share, the hoodies and the t-shirt because I love that hoodie. Short story, I meant to do a video clip about this, but I remember I was coming back from Florida, somewhere, Texas, I think. And I had on the Hello Beautiful shirt. And this guy said, yes, you are. And I
I
was
know that's
like,
right.
huh? He said, yes, you are beautiful. And I had to remember, oh, my shirt. But the shirts are so pretty. It's just like a stamp of like, it's like what the Superman sign. That's what I like it too. It's like a
Oh,
Superman
good.
sign, and you can just wear it confidently with your chest out, and it does make you feel beautiful. But I wanted us to dive in more into, like you talked about, the inner journey. People, women, they can have this outer appearance, but deep inside, there's not the beauty that they're displaying on the outside. What do you feel are, aside from society and upbringing, what do you feel are some things that women can do, I guess, to heal? I got like four questions going in my head right now.
It's okay.
So the first question is, what do you think that women get their ideal of what beautiful is? But we kind of talked about that. And so I just want to know, like, when a woman is struggling with her beautifulness, her self-confidence, her belief in God is for her and not against her, what are some things that you can remind her of to help her to get through that phase and get, to the next point in her life?
I think the first thing is to say it's okay where you are, right? We've
Mm-hmm.
all been at that point where we're questioning who we are, like we're questioning everything about us,
Yeah.
and understanding that where we are mentally, physically, and spiritually is a result of everything that we've been through. It's a result of everything we didn't get. It's a
Mm-hmm.
result of everything that we want. But we have to start somewhere, right? So it's getting back to that anchoring question and saying, at the end of the day, what do you feel is beautiful for you? What is your
Mm-hmm.
definition of beautiful? Because
Mm-hmm.
that anchor is going to be what holds you when life hits. That anchor is going to be the thing when that mountain is standing in your way and you're like, I have no hope. I don't have any strength to be able to get through it.
Yeah.
But that definition and understanding that, okay, right now, even going through the trial and the circumstance, they're still beautiful,
Yeah.
regardless of what you're going through. So I think we have to just shift perspective and get ask the question, what is beautiful about me? And then saying, am I okay with where I'm presently? I am. Because sometimes, right, we've got this big dream, right? You deal with the dreams
Yeah.
of where we want to be.
Yeah.
But our reality is we're not there yet.
Right.
And we still have to be able to still have hope that we'll still get there.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
understanding it's all a part of the journey. And so, yes, we may be taking two steps forward. We get to the mountain and now we got to pivot and go right. And
Mhm.
then, we move forward. So we just got to keep moving through it all and understanding that it's not going to always be beautiful from the perspective of good days, but it's
Mhm.
beautiful because of the journey that we still get to take.
Yeah, that's powerful. That's so powerful. Yesterday was one of those days where it started out like ugly. I had prepared myself. I was going to get up, take my final exam in the morning so that I could be done with school. And when I come home, I don't have to worry about it. I get up and I turn on my computer, and my computer decides to do updates right at that moment.
Uh-oh.
So 5 o'clock hit, and then you got 5:30, and it was just real slow. So I had to shut the computer. And as I'm sitting there, I'm frustrated, but there's another part of my mind is like, why waste that time being frustrated? You already know what it is. You can't take the exam right now. So are you going to let that ruin your day? So I was able to get through that, and I spent some time with God and prayed and just listened. And then I get to work and I'm walking and my shoe just breaks. And I'm like, okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it just breaks, but because I'm feeling my shoe, I'm like, my shoe feels funny. I look down and it's flopping, and so I went back to my desk, and early, like last week, I had a pair of sandals there, and I was going to take them home because I keep walking shoes at my desk, and so I put on some walking shoes, but I never changed them back into my sandals, and I just left my sandals there. I was going to take them home, and something was like, no, just leave them there. So I'm so grateful that I did, leave them there because I had an extra pair of shoes and I could throw those away. In that moment, I just became so filled with gratitude because it could have been worse. It could have been that I didn't have another option. It could have been that the shoe, I could have kept wearing the shoe. It was just going to be extra loud. But it could have been that the shoe completely broke, and, I didn't get to take my exam, so I had to leave work early because I couldn't do it at work. It could have been worse where I don't have that flexibility on the job, to be able to do something like that. Those are the moments that I find beautiful. And it's like beautiful is a mindset. It's a choice
Yes.
that we make to look at life from a perspective of hope. You mentioned hope, looking at it from a perspective of what is working. I wanted to be frustrated about the day I said, but I thank God that I'm not getting calls from my children's school saying that they're having behavior issues. It's so many other things that could have gone wrong. But my question to you is, when you cannot be in that space of being optimistic and being grateful because you are so weighted down with despair, what would you advise someone when they just cannot see, everything around them is black? They cannot see any hope. They cannot see any peace. They can't even accept where they are in life.
You mean where I was last week?
Oh my goodness, do tell. What was that experience like?
It's just we all have heavy moments. And even though I am supposed to be talking beautiful, I don't always feel beautiful, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
The kids cutting up, the dog cutting up, like everything around you is falling apart. And you want to me, right? I will go in a hole. I'll just go under the covers. Don't ask me. I don't want nothing. Don't call me. Don't text me. I'm just like completely dark.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to understand that it's in those moments that's when I really have to pull on God,
Mm-hmm.
because you got your girlfriends that you can phone a friend, and
Right.
you got the two types of friends: the ones that's going to sit there and have the pity parties with you,
Yep.
right? Or the friend that's going to tell you to get your stuff together.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
But what happens when you can't reach either one of those?
Right. Yeah.
Right. And that's where I was. It was like I sent a text, nobody said anything. I called and left a message, nobody answered. I need somebody to talk to. And
Right.
God's like, you got me to talk to. So I at that moment, I have no choice but to have a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
because he's there when everyone else isn't. He's
Yes.
always there. And I think that's where we have to understand is even in the darkest moments, we're
Mm-hmm.
never truly alone.
Yeah.
It's in those darkest moments actually where he's carrying us through,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we have to understand, one, this isn't our burden to carry.
Mm.
We have to turn it over to him and say, God, this is what I feel, and be honest with what you feel,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you don't have a relationship with God where you can't go yelling and screaming, then then you got to have a different conversation, right? Like
Mm.
you know how God talks to you, and you know there's
Yeah.
ways. God, listen, today ain't the day. I don't
Yeah.
like people today. Like, be as real as you
Right.
can. Like, you got to love
Oh,
people,
goodness, yeah.
but today I don't like nobody.
Right.
And really have the conversation, but be open and ready to receive what it is he needs you to hear.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part, because sometimes we go in with different conversations already knowing and expecting the answer.
Yeah.
Like, we know what we
Yeah.
want somebody to say.
Yeah.
When God is like, well, if you had been walking in forgiveness, then this wouldn't have happened to you. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So if we go and go to God and say, God, I need some help. I need you to talk to me. What is it that I need to fix and do? You got to really be honest with receiving what he's getting ready to tell you. Because he might tell you, I done told you to let that relationship go, but you still ain't did that yet. So
Yeah.
you can't be boo-hooing about it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
really be open to what he has to say. We're all sit in that dark place. I've been
That's
there,
true. Yeah.
but we're
Yeah.
never alone because he's always there with us.
That's important to remember, because that's the first thing I remember myself saying. I just feel so alone, like I'm going through this by myself, and that wasn't true. It wasn't true at all. And so that's very important to remember, that we are not alone. What
Mhm.
started you on this path? Like, why did you start your business, Unbreakable Memories, and why do you do the work that you do?
It started because it's something about, you get to 40 and you realize, what's the purpose? You done been working all your life, and you done, went to college, got the degree, got the job, but don't have the fulfillment,
Yes. Oh, Jesus.
right?
Yes.
So you got all the titles, but it was when I got closer to 40, I said, God, I know that there is something bigger
Mm-hmm.
than this.
Mm-hmm.
But because I'm looking at, something glorious, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have always been the encourager in the family. Like, when every time someone's going through something, they're calling me saying, well, what do you think about this? So I didn't realize encouragement was my assignment. It was my purpose.
Mm.
Because I'm looking for the big thing. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
you looking for all, but he had to show me that every person, every position, every title, no matter what gift they walk in, they always need encouragement
That's true.
at some point or another.
Yeah.
So when it got to 40 and I realized, okay, God, I am sorry for downplaying the gift that you gave me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hosted a party for my friends, just to say thank you for all they've done. And, I did a little wine glasses and little trinkets, and they had little encouraging words on it. And that was what started it all, because they were like, you should really do this, more often. And so it just led from one thing to the next. But we all know God's going to use the thing that you struggled with
Yeah.
as the true assignment, right? And
Yes.
so
Yes.
understanding me as being beautiful was always a struggle. But
Mm.
he said, that's the thing that you
Yeah.
use. So for women, for girls,
Mm-hmm.
for families, that
Mm.
they no longer have to look at what society says is beautiful and understand that beautiful is who I have created you to be, because I am beautiful.
Wow. That is powerful. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about our men and how they deal, or I don't want to say deal with, like, it's like you tolerate, but we're going to talk about men and the topic of beautiful when it comes to their women. So make sure you all join us after the break. right. Welcome back to The Day I Found Myself. We're talking about the day I found myself looking for beautiful. And I have my beautiful guest, Miss Katrina Henderson of Unbreakable Memories. Now, if you're looking for apparel that makes you feel beautiful, that shows the world a stamp of beautiful on your chest, you have to check out unbreakablememories.com. Is that the right website, Katrina?
That's
Okay,
it.
she
Yep.
has hoodies. You know, it's getting cold out here. I'm in the Midwest, but I'm sure it's getting cold around the globe. But she got hoodies, journals, like if you need to journal your thoughts. She sent this beautiful birthday. I'm going to share a commercial of Samantha opening up her birthday box that Katrina sent to her for her birthday with her t-shirt and journal, age appropriate journal. There are many things there, candles, bracelets, a lot of wonderful things. You have mugs there also, Katrina?
I do. I got it
Yeah.
all.
Wow. And it's the perfect time to get your holiday shopping on. You know, so if you're looking for unique gifts for those that you love, you can check out unbreakablememories.com and see what you can get. Go shopping there. But before the break, we were talking about your journey and how you started your business and what led you to doing it. I know that you are married now. How did you work through the I guess the beautiful challenges that you may have to build the confidence to remarry again?
Wow, that is such a loaded question. It was hard in the beginning because of the trust that was
Mm-hmm.
broken.
Mm-hmm.
And um, there were moments when I couldn't fully allow my husband to see me
Mm.
because of what I had gone through with the first. It was kind of like in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, you gonna do the same thing he gonna do. So, and so it wasn't until again I had to forgive
Mm-hmm.
the first husband, like, and truly forgive, like forgive and forget, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they tell you, I'm gonna forgive, but I ain't gotta forget. Well, and I had to forget because if
Mm-hmm.
not, I was always comparing or looking
Right.
to if my husband now does this little move. Well, if he says that, that's gonna lead to this argument that we have. So I had to let my husband be who he is and
Yeah.
not worry about whether I was going to get hurt and not worry about whether he was going to cut up. Like not just let's just let we are new beginning.
Yeah.
My husband actually truly showed me how to love again and like love unconditionally
Wow.
and understanding like when I tell you he's like the biggest supporter, he's the like my whole marketing department, like that's him. He's
Okay.
got the gift of gab. And so when I say that because I think he believes more in what I'm doing than I do.
Oh, wow.
And to know that you have someone like that supporting you, even when you don't feel beautiful or don't see you're beautiful, he can be
Mhm.
like, babe, you looking good up, give you the little comments that men do.
Yeah.
And it's just like the little switch goes on. And it was a sense of safety,
Mm.
knowing that I could let my guard completely down
Yeah.
and not worry about whether I was going to get hurt. Now, we go through things like any couple does,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still knowing that we went in this knowing divorce is not an option. I don't care how bad it got.
Mm-hmm.
We understood, we in it to the long haul. Like we had moments, when you go through it, I'm like, okay, I'm not so sure about this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, you have moments when I don't like you today, but I know, we got kids. We
Right.
need to,
Yeah.
but it wasn't those things. We gonna work this out for the kids. That wasn't the thing. It was just knowing that this is just a moment. We're
Yeah.
just in a little dark place right now,
Right.
and we
Yeah.
can get through this. And just knowing that they're still beautiful no matter what we go through.
Yeah. How does he impact your beautiful? Like, what does I know you say he's your supporter, and he compliments you, but on a deeper level, how does he bring out beautiful, bring it out of you?
first he lets me be me.
Okay.
And like the real me, right? Not the one that's for camera or,
Yeah.
not to say, because now what you see is what you get. Now, that
Mhm.
wasn't the case a couple years ago, but just knowing that it's kind of like opposite attract. Like, I'm the introvert, I'm the shy one, I'm the quiet one. He is the life of the party, like completely opposite. But
Mm.
we work because he is showing me how to live life
Mhm.
without any regrets,
Oh,
how to live life knowing, okay, we don't necessarily have to, tonight we eating peanut butter and jelly, we eating peanut butter and jelly, like, and it's okay. And
yeah.
like having fun, like when I say there is complete laughter in this house all day long, it
Mhm.
drives me crazy sometimes, right? But that's what, because, that's the beauty in it,
Yeah.
is knowing he's a big kid just like the kids are, and just,
Yeah.
okay, I can laugh today and,
Yeah.
really enjoy life and
Yeah.
understand, like, listen, we're good just the way we are.
That's beautiful. That is really beautiful. I mean, we've hit on a lot that we've been, when it comes to beautiful. What are some other ways that you express your beautiful in your life, aside from what you do in your business, Unbreakable Memories? But how do you see beautiful in your parenting? Um, I'll share a story. Like, I see beautiful in my parenting. The other night, I was so tired and I was trying to do an assignment, and Samantha, she's so used to us. We do this pillow talk thing. I don't know what she gonna do when I get a man, because you would swear this little girl, she be waiting up, but she was sitting in the bed, and you could tell, I could just feel that she was sad. She wanted her mom. She was playing with her little bunny. And so I told her to come here. I just said, come here. She said, who, me? Just, she needs to be on somebody's show acting for real. But I set her on my lap, and we didn't have a blanket or anything. So I put a towel over her. I set my laptop on the bed. I put my headphones on, and I was just doing my homework, and I rocked her to sleep. And she was just so content with that. That was a beautiful parenting moment to me. Now, another flip side of it is my oldest daughter, which is my, what is that? Tasmanian devil. She's like my biggest teacher. All of them are, but she helps me learn about my anger and different things like that. But there was a beautiful moment where, and some people might not call it beautiful, but she had texted me one day and she was saying, Ma, I need your help. And we just had this real big blowout. And when you have blowouts with people, for me, it causes me to reassess. And it's like looking at how our relationship would be going forward, how I will allow you to have access to me. What is a trigger? I get to define all of that. And so the blowout, it was really, really bad. I had forgiven her, but I knew that I had to make a decision that our relationship had to change. And so when she texted me that, I'm so used to being that, what's going on? Let me, tell me about it. And so I just took a step back. This is a beautiful moment for me, as the rescuer. We're taught to wait for the questions. Sometimes I ask the questions, anticipating what a person would need. But I waited a moment, and then I text her back. God had given me what to say. I'm raising her son right now. And I told her, I said, I've given you all the help that I can give you. I'm completely taking care of your son, and you're free to do whatever. And she was shocked by the response, and I was too. And she was like, all I had was a question about advice, and I just said, okay. But in that moment, it was beautiful for me because I was able to communicate to her where we are. Like, I'm not angry with you, but the help that you're getting from me is the help that you're just going to receive. Because to assume responsibility for a child you did not give birth to, and there's nothing physically wrong with their parent, that's a lot. So I feel like I'm giving you a lot. And so those were beautiful moments for me, because coming up, I didn't feel the liberty to express myself. I didn't feel the liberty to know that my feelings mattered, that I had a say so in how my life went, how my days went, where my attention went. And so to be able to be courageous enough to do that, it was beautiful. And then for Samantha to be able to set aside, to integrate the two. This is
Mm-hmm.
important. However, she's equally important, so let me just scoop her up. And before I knew it, she was asleep. But what are some beautiful moments that you can share that you've had in your life?
So with my oldest, so between my oldest and my middle daughter, there's a 10-year gap.
Mm-hmm.
And so the oldest, she grew up with the mommy that was kind of repairing herself after divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And so, she years ago, she had come to me and, had a really good conversation and very vocal about how she felt and how she felt that when the other two kids came, that I kind of backed away from
Mm-hmm.
her and that I didn't do the same things that I necessarily had done with her when it was just her and I.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a real hard thing to hear because as your mom, as a mom, you're thinking, I'm doing everything that I can give my kids. Like I'm giving you everything I got,
Mm-hmm.
but not realizing that what you thought you were giving really wasn't the thing that you were giving
Yeah.
and not what she needed.
Yep. Yep.
And so my oldest has given me several beautiful moments in terms of being able to teach me about forgiveness and understanding, okay, I didn't get it right, the
Yeah.
first 10 years.
Yeah.
She still loved me through it. But she also taught me about boundaries
Mm.
and that there were things that she was not going to tolerate for her mental capacity in her mental space. And so that meant she needed to leave the house because we had some dysfunctional moments in the beginning, then she had to do that. And I didn't understand it at the time until I realized now I understood what she meant about having peace.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If you can't be in your own home and be in your room or your environment, which is your home is supposed to be your safe place,
Right. Yeah.
and you didn't feel at peace and you
Yeah.
didn't feel safe, then we need to throw the whole house away and start over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she taught me
Yeah.
that peace matters. And so that was it was again a hard thing to hear,
Yeah.
right? I done got
Yeah.
dinged twice. Big dings.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I understand that she is the one that helps initiate the healing so that now we all can truly see beautiful. Like my oldest is the one that plans the parties to keep the family together. Like she is the one like filling that mama role
Yeah.
and understanding like, okay, we need to get everybody together. So that's the beautiful moments with her.
Oh, wow.
Then my middle child, the beautiful moment is right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
She wanted to go around the neighborhood and put up a sign. I said, okay, what's the sign going to say? And it just said, I love you. So we're going around all the mailboxes, putting up the sign, and I'm like, Aubrey, what is happening? Like, why, but I let her do her thing. But what was beautiful is when we walked the next day,
Mm-hmm.
somebody had written on one of her notes, I love you too.
Oh my God.
And so I understood
Oh,
that
wow.
my second child is a healer and will heal the world. And so even though she's quiet,
Yeah.
her voice is going to be mighty. And I tell
Yes.
her all the time because, and I don't know if this is sharing too much about her, but
Mm-hmm.
when I was pregnant with her, I never had any issues during my pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was going fine. Day of delivery, where, it's time to push and all that other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck,
Mm.
never showed any signs of distress at all.
Mm.
So the umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck, but not only that, further along in the umbilical cord, it's knotted.
Wow.
but never had any, like, never gave during any of the sonograms that anything was wrong. And so it was at that moment, like, I knew that she is destined
Yeah.
for something great, for something
Yeah.
to heal. And then when
Oh my
she wanted to
God.
do
Ooh.
the signs
Yeah.
of healing, I said, yeah, this
Yeah.
girl is going to be the quiet storm. And then
Wow.
my son's beautiful moments is he knows exactly when you need a hug. It's like his discernment and knowing. He'll just come up and you give you a hug. And I'm like, oh, I needed that.
Mm.
And it's just, he knows when to give them.
Yeah.
You could have the roughest day and he's coming and he's giving a hug. Now he's got his moments when he don't want to be bothered,
Yeah.
but it's at the moments when you truly need that hug, he's
Yeah.
coming.
That is
So
so
those are my
beautiful.
beautiful moments.
That is so beautiful. Yeah, my middle daughter, she taught me about boundaries, and I thank God for the experience. She was going through and trying to find herself, and I didn't know how to help her because she wasn't listening. And I know at my age, well, she was like 24, 23, 24. I ain't like my
Mhm.
mom at that time. You can't tell me nothing. And, so we were so used to being close knit. It was just awkward, to not be close knit when we would be around each other. There was this thick tension, and I just learned how to just be available. When
Right.
she was a child that never asked for much, so when she asked for something, she really needed it. And those are some very beautiful moments of motherhood. On the job, I remember a beautiful moment of being fired. I I had never been fired from a job before. And it was so interesting. I dreamt about the whole thing, like how it played out. And I started preparing like a few days before. Even though I didn't want to be fired, I don't know, I got my box and started emptying out my desk. And so when they came and told me they wanted to talk, I had already knew what it was. And it was just really on some racist stuff, but it was a beautiful experience because it taught me to pay attention to my God voice, really pay attention to your dreams,
That's
and
so good.
adhere to those urges and those unctions in your body, because they guide you, they give you information to help you,
Absolutely.
understand how to move in life, and it's so funny because the ugly things offer so much beauty, you know.
Absolutely.
And how do you think that we miss the beauty? I know we kind of hit on it earlier, just society, and we have our visions, but what are some other ways that you think causes us to miss the beauty in things?
I think we want to rush through
Mm,
the situation, right?
hmm.
No one wants to sit in the eye of the storm,
Yeah, that's true.
but it's in that eye of the storm when you actually, you get some clarity.
Yeah,
You learn to trust. You learn to let go of the control. Like
yeah,
you let go
yes,
and let God. It's like you in the eye of the storm, you have nothing left to give. You are depleted of everything.
yeah,
Like you're sitting here like, I need somebody to check me in somewhere because I can't think straight.
yeah, yeah,
It's like we have to understand that, okay, when I'm in the eye of the storm, when I'm in that moment, when I'm questioning everything of who I am, God, what do you need me to receive? What do you need me to hear? What do you need me to do? What do you need me
hmm,
to let go of?
hmm,
And be okay
hmm,
with that storm. Because listen, the storm we may be in right now is something we're going to still overcome.
yeah,
Because we were in storms before
yeah,
and got through
yeah,
what we didn't think we were going to get through before.
yeah,
So, what we're sitting in right now is nothing else but
yeah,
a new opportunity to learn how to live life.
yeah.
And that's how we have to shift the perspective on it.
Absolutely. And it's going to add depth, to our character. And I always look at storms like, after a storm blows through and
Rainbow.
it destroys things, you go through the rubble and you pick out the valuables, what can be
Good.
retrieved, that's still usable, and it holds a deep, deep, deep weight, a connection in your heart, and so storms, they're very necessary. I think they're a very necessary part. When I was in that ugly phase early a few years ago, I couldn't imagine. I knew I wasn't going to stay down. Let me say that. But it was just like how things are now, the beauty, the confidence, the courage to go after things, to be able to speak from a perspective of I've overcome, but then also still be able to go back and grab gems and
Yeah.
things like that. It wasn't just for naught, there's a purpose for it. And so beautiful is all around us and inside of us. Like you said, it's just about changing our perspective and
Right.
being patient with ourselves and
That
not
part.
want to rush through the process. It's about knowing when no one is around that God is always there and you're there. I remember talking to myself, in those moments, the questions that need to be answered, they'll come up. How did I get here? You can ask it from a position of you're blaming yourself or you're mad. Why did you do that? But really, why did you do that? It'll help you understand yourself better. It's in those
Right.
ugly places where beautiful things can be born. And it's
Absolutely.
it's just a powerful, powerful, powerful thing. So if someone wanted to work with you, let's say that they're stuck and they can't find beautiful nowhere in their life, in anything, how would they connect with you to work with you?
So, unbreakablememories.com is the website. I've got on there my Facebook connect, like all the links are there. Or if you're on Facebook, we have a group called the Beautiful Society, where it's just a group of women, and I'm sharing beautiful. Each month we have a different theme for the month. So, like this month, we're working on comparison. And so there may be a journaling prompt or, some little tasks that you have to do. Nothing overwhelming,
Yeah,
but just to get you to experience beautiful in a different perspective.
absolutely.
Or you can email me at Katrina@unbreakablememories.com.
Wow, this has been a wonderful conversation. I was going to say beautiful, but this has been
Yeah,
a
beautiful.
beautiful conversation. You recently offered a 6 week, or was it an 8 week intensive?
It turned out to be five.
Five.
5 week
Okay.
intensive. No more excuses. Unleashing your beautiful. And so we dealt with the four most common excuses that held me back in walking in my beautiful. And that first one was saying I didn't have enough time.
Mm,
The second one was overthinking. The third one is perfectionism. And then the final one, which was the last one and the hardest to get out of, was staying silent
mm.
and understanding that I got to let every single excuse go in order to unleash and walk in my beautiful.
Staying silent is so powerful. Like that just resonated with me. Like when people don't feel okay, I'm gonna speak from my perspective. When you don't feel supported or you don't feel like your words matter, you stay silent. How can people, I don't want you to give away the tips or anything, but is the intensive available like I don't want to a la carte, or if they want to just take self-paced? That's what I meant, self-paced.
So I'm working on that part of it.
Hmm.
I'm waiting on direction on when the next cohort of it will start. So that is the goal, but I'm always here to answer questions. But staying silent, you're right. When we think that, no one is going to want to hear what we have to say, that keeps us stuck, right?
Hmm.
The fear of, well, if I say this, they're not going to like me anymore. That
Hmm.
keeps us stuck.
Yeah.
We think, well, like in my case, the moment I speak up, I get disciplined for it. So I'm gonna stop speaking up. Right. That
Mm.
was what had me.
Oh my
But
God,
when you
that I remember that story you
at the
shared
conference,
at that girl that made me cry. That's when I had to go outside and just be with God, and then I had a major breakthrough. But share that story.
so I hadn't realized what kept me from using my voice, right? I'm the quiet one. I'm the introvert, right? They call you. I am your cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna push you all day long. I like to stay behind the scenes. I'm that person. But when God, calls you and tells you, nope, this is what I want you to do,
Mm-hmm.
I got to get out my comfort zone. But I didn't know how to get out of that comfort zone. I didn't know how to become comfortable with using my voice. And so we were at the confidence conference,
Mm-hmm.
and the question came up, and I hadn't realized it until I think Christina maybe had been talking about her childhood experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had realized at that moment that I had stopped using my voice the day I was in maybe fifth or sixth grade, elementary school. We had a substitute teacher. So, substitute teachers, everyone's cutting up, you doing whatever, right?
Right.
Our table kept getting blamed for all of the noise. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had yelled out, it's not our table.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I had got written up and disciplined because I spoke up and yelled out in class. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been yelling, but you
Right.
keep blaming my table, right?
Right.
But it was at that moment that I had associated with me speaking up with um, getting in trouble. So
Mm-hmm.
I stopped speaking up. I stopped
Mm-hmm.
saying what I wanted. I stopped asking for what I needed
Mm-hmm.
because when I did say something, I got yelled at. I got in
Right.
trouble.
It was like you
And
did something wrong.
it was like I did something wrong. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until that conference when I realized that that's what it was.
Mm.
But what was moving to me and that really got me all the way together was when Alicia had asked, well, is that teacher still alive? And I was like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, so you're letting her words keep you from using your voice and keeping you from moving forward. And I was like, you're so right. Like that's what she right. She says it all the time. Because I'm like, that one little thing that I was holding on to
Yeah.
kept
Yeah.
me stuck
Wow.
for so long. And it was like, now I got a microphone. Like, you can't tell me nothing.
That is
It's
such a
like,
beautiful breakthrough. Oh my God.
because when you know what you're supposed to do and you can
Yeah.
release all the excuses,
Yeah.
then you can't tell me that it's something that God can't do. Like for me to sit on here on this show with you,
Yeah.
you told me 2 years ago, oh no, Cynthia, I can't do it. Now I can create you a t-shirt,
Yeah.
But when
Oh
he
wow.
say go and like you gotta go and like be
Absolutely.
like, okay, God, I'm gonna step with you even through the fear, even in
Yeah.
the not knowing all the steps, even in not knowing how it's gonna all play out.
Yeah.
Because your yes has to be your yes, no matter what it looks like.
That's true. That's true. Man, so if y'all are loving what Katrina is talking about, you have to connect with her on Facebook every Tuesday. Is it 7 p.m. Central Standard? No, not Central,
Eight
but
it's 8 Central Standard Time. Not Central, Eastern.
Eastern.
Just 8 o'clock Eastern now.
Yes, you go live. And what's the name of the show?
It's called A Beautiful Life.
A Beautiful
Conversations on
Life.
Beautiful.
Conversations about beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You have to check it out. Like, she has so much wisdom. She has so much value to offer the world. And so I hope that you all connect with Katrina. She's an amazing trailblazer. She's a beautiful woman, a gifted artist, and she's supporting women and families, because when you help the woman, you helping generations, so she's making a difference for generations. And so go follow her, show up to her Facebook lives with your pen and your paper, take notes. It's time for us to stop looking for beautiful and being beautiful. And so I hope you enjoyed today's show. And here's a little poem just for you. See you next time, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where did our time go? Where did our time go? It seems like it went so fast. I reach out for you, but I can't keep my grasp on the hope of our future. All I can see is our past. Where did time go? Where did time go? It seems like it was lost in the ugly things, the uncomfortable things, the things that tried to demean us. We fought hard for a while, but then it seemed like I couldn't find you and you couldn't find me, and we lost time, we lost each other, and It feels like we lost eternity. I keep wondering and asking the question over and over in my mind, how can I get this time? How can I get this time back that we've lost, fighting for things that didn't mean anything, crying about things that brought shame to our family? Where did time go? I look back now and I see that the youth of my past has been robbed, and nothing really lasts when you look at it for sure. It doesn't make sense that we allowed time to lapse. We let go of our love, and all we did was fought. We fought to be right. We fought to be heard. We fought to be understood. And now I realize none of it even mattered. Where did our time go? Where did the time